all of this talk about either purchasing Greenland, presumably in Trump's mind by bribing its people. Apparently one of his ideas is to individually pay Greenlanders to surrender their freedom, or through force, which he explicitly does not rule out, is not only, morally wrong, it's insane. It's insane even if your only metric is the self-interest of the United States. This kind of action we can see has already made the United States weaker, very seriously weaker, by quite understandably undermining the confidence of our closest allies. And the idea that somehow NATO's been exploiting the United States all these years, we can certainly argue over contributions to defense budgets, etc. But the idea that NATO has somehow been exploiting the most powerful country in the history of the world, which has benefited so enormously from the post-war world order with NATO at its heart.
Spencer,
the idea that we would sacrifice the protection we get from NATO is insane.
Can I just put one point to you there from Speaker Johnson? And he said, we shouldn't take Donald Trump literally. We take him seriously, but we shouldn't take him literally. This is the politics of shock and awe. The notion that this extraordinary hand grenade of an idea is thrown out there, invasion, taking over by force, but that's not actually the real game plan. He wants a more diplomatic notion, but why not just go for the diplomatic notion in the first place?
This line about don't take him literally, take him seriously, but not literally, has long since worn out its welcome and certainly been disproven by the second Trump administration, if not the first. During the first Trump administration, he had what are often referred to as adults around him who could contain his worst impulses, but he learned his lesson, and this time he's stocked his government with infinitely pliant mediocrities like Johnson, and there are no limits on him. And so we should absolutely take him seriously, as we have seen just recently in Venezuela, as we're seeing on the streets of Minneapolis and other American cities, as we're seeing with all of this talk about Greenland. And I think that the leaders and defense ministers of Europe and Great Britain are obviously taking him seriously, not because they're fools, but because they understand exactly what they're looking at and exactly what the risk is.
Okay, thank you for joining us on the show tonight. It's a pleasure to have your company as ever. That's a former advisor of the Barack Obama campaign, Spencer Critchley.